Hello, good morning. It is morning here. And welcome to the weekly Higher Love Mirror reading. A lovely peaceful energy. Just looking at a box right in front of me. It is my daughter's birthday, and she's been generously sent a gift. It is in a box, and on the side of it says Classic World. So, Classic World, what does that mean? The birds have been singing. Classic World to me means basic world, which means stripping it back to basics. So, and also the classical world, the ancient world, the world of the goddess. So that makes absolute sense. Okay, off we go. 1, 2, 3, to the 2, to the 1, to the 1, to the 2, to the 1, to the 3, to the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. Hello, Queen of Cups. She is my super queen. This is really fascinating because I was going to say Classic World speaks to me of natural world, and natural world means no technology. And I do want to say this. Just try to not use the internet for 3 months and watch your life change. Do not watch any news, do not watch any social media, including this, anything. Well, I would say you can watch this, and otherwise I wouldn't be doing it, would I? What would be happening? But the reason why I'm here online is to cut through to transpersonal, universal narratives. And there's only one universal narrative, and that is love. There's only one universal building block, and it is, do you know what love is? It is connection itself. So the only thing that is true is oneness, and the only way that that plays out in life is through connection. And that's it. That is the only universal narrative. And all we seek truly is connection, to experience connection. That's it. So, but you're not going to find it unless you integrate feeling and thoughts and feelings. And this is what this Queen of Cups is about, because she has this supersonic, my kind of technological, supersonic, I call it, cup. And it really represents to be structures and systems that are built around love, built around emotion, built around those cups. If you don't have the cup at your core, if you don't have love at your core, if you don't have connection at your core, if you're seeking connection online and that's the only place you find it, that's not going to work. It's not the way our bodies work. So whoever you've created, whichever avatar you've created for yourself, and unfortunately the whole AI experiment is already way down the line, which is that you don't even know. I mean, you've never really known the truth of you, most probably, but this layer and layer, that there's the avatars upon avatars upon avatars are just making it everything very confusing and confused. And that can't occur when you have love at your core, when you live from the heart, when you live from your heart, and understand that your heart is connected to all hearts, because really all life is connection. So there's a reason why the birds are singing so powerfully outside my window. And it's because that's the only song that is true. And I would just put out a bit of a warning to ensure that you build structure around love and you really question the structures, the systems, the stories that you are believing, and whether they are built in love. Understanding that connection is the only thing that is ever present. Because oneness requires it. First card for you this week is the 10 of Wands. Might be a bit tricky. Second card for you this week is the Strength card. Third card for you this week is the Ace of Wands. Fourth card for you, the 9 of Wands. First card for the Mirror, 7 of Wands. Bit of a wandy week so far. Second card for the Mirror, 5 of Pentacles. Third card for the Mirror, 3 of Wands. Fourth card for the Mirror, Hanged Man. Okay. Oh, I just love these birds singing. It makes me so happy. So contented and peaceful. Right. First card for you, 10 of Wands. This is very interesting. So yes, overwhelm, put it down, let it all go. These 10s keep coming up. It's a massive time of transition at the moment, so just let everything go. This really also does represent stories, because the Wands are creativity and stories. And notice all these Wands. How many do we have? 3, 5 out of 9 so far. So that's over half. And a couple of major arcana, so you know, most of the cards here are Wands, and it really does, to me, indicate creativity and narrative and story. Put all the stories down. And again, what I was saying about avatar upon avatar upon avatar, that just means, you know, it's a fake self, essentially. Or it's not a fake self, it's a belief in a self, a story of a self that's kind of wrapped around a story of a self, another story of a self. So you might have a story of you. I may have a story of you. Your friends and family will have a story of you. Your colleagues will have a story of you. You are many, 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 many stories. So what is true? Really, as I explained, this Queen of Cups is saying, find your truth. And that is only going to happen with the cup, not the wands. So you're never going to be able to, it's kind of, what I want to say, it's a myth that you create yourself. You can't create yourself. You can't create anything, actually. You can realize everything. You can become creation, right? You can become creation. In order to become creation, which is represented by that Ace of Wands, kinda, you have to lay down all the stories about you. But also maybe this week, even the ability that you can create anything, because with that Mirror giving you this 7, it's got this defensive energy. It's a bit of a negative energy as well with that 5 next to it. It's kind of like, say, it's a no energy. And it's saying no. And this is potentially what's creating these kind of issues with, you know, carrying the weight, bearing the burden, not really being able to see the way forward and where to go. You've got to put it all down. It's endings to create new beginnings. It's going to be tricky because the way forward is not necessarily going to be clear, because we have this Strength card, which represents these two opposing energies, really, kind of force and restriction. But it's in the name of peace. So it's kind of an invitation to be powerful in silence. That's actually what the Strength is. Can you be powerful in silence? There's a bit of a narrative, bit of a story going around now that if you maintain your silence about anything, that means you support, You support something. That is an action. That to not speak out against something is to speak for it. This is completely ridiculous story. Okay? Don't fall into that trap. Not doing something does not equal doing something. Not speaking does not equal speaking. It's very simple to understand, okay? So it's going to take strength for you to lay down these stories, because people around you are in these stories. The only way to liberation is through a release and basically taming those passions, because ones are also passion, again, as I said, creativity, but it's always going to come. It's always going to emerge. Don't worry, life, creation will happen. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. It will occur. It occurs. Creation occurs constantly. But then you have this Nine of Wands, which is kind of a bit scary, a little bit scared, feeling vulnerable. Who am I when I become creation, when I am not responsible for creating my life? Simple as that. Mirror on the other side, Seven of Wands against this 10, as I said, is kind of saying no. It's saying no to all of these stories. The beauty of these unconditional love relationships is they completely destroy all the stories and the avatars and the selves we believe about ourselves, the stories of the self. They say, the mirror always says, this isn't true, this isn't true, this isn't true. Oh, but it is true, this isn't true. It's all about kind of truth, and it forces you into your love to structure a life. So it's not that you don't need a life because there isn't a story. It's that you allow life, you allow creation to occur. And yes, is this scary? Yes. Is this a little bit out of your comfort zone? Is it a little bit of a new world? Do you not really know what's going on? Yes. Be careful you don't cycle, but you might just cycle back into that 10, from that 9 back to that 10. But this is just going to be showing you over and over and over that creation occurs. You don't have to do anything. That's not your responsibility. As I said, a little bit of a negative energy over there on the mirror side. This says no. That's all you really need to know, is that says no. And then this 5 is just a bit of a lack experience, saying, I'm not really present, actually. I'm not living in appreciation. And this is something that's kind of a little bit annoying about this this energy of this mirror at the moment. But it's the experience of lack, even when, it's a 5. There is warmth and beauty and love and joy here, but there's not enough. It's this experience of there being not enough. So, that can be difficult. This experience of not enough, and really what I want to say is, there's nothing wrong about any of these energies, and it can be frustrating because this is not a nice energy to be in, but it's happening so that you can experience this. But you want to have compassion for someone. It's what I want to say is that it's like, this is destined. All of this is destined. You can't kind of get angry at someone for being in this 5 of Pentacles, because they're not doing it. They're not doing anything. It's life unfolding and life happening exactly as it should. And that 5 actually leads to asking and asking for help. So there's some challenge, there's some difficulty over there on that side, but you're not really available to give or offer help because you're a little bit stuck in your own self experience of self, which is kind of what wants to be addressed at the moment. So again, nothing wrong with that. That's completely fine. But just be aware, and there's a bit of extra information here, which is why you're here. This 5 of Pentacles is over there saying, it's asking for help. It's saying, I'm really struggling here. I am really struggling. But asking does happen, because this 3 of Wands then is about receiving, and the learning over here on this mirror side at this time is to ask for help. It's maybe about pride being broken, but it's not as though there's a lot of kind of like pride coming before a fall, but it's there's something related here as well to this no and this stubbornness. Maybe it's very useful, so you can, it's all coming together, you see, everything's always making sense. But it's always multiple things. So this no forces you to really kind of feel overwhelmed, or as though you've come to an end of another cycle, and things just cycle, and it's challenging and it's difficult and all these kind of things. But it's also kind of forcing the mirror into this experience of lack, because there's resistance there, and there's a no to love as well, because love, there's a love story in here too, but unfortunately we don't get to hold on to any story, because we are creation. Creation can't happen if we're holding on to a story that we have created, or that creation that has occurred to us. So it's just about them re-emerging and re-emerging and re-emerging. So for you, that's what wants to be shown to you through this no. But then what it pushes the mirror into is actually some lack and some need and some struggle, which then causes them to ask, not you, because again, kind of a self-focused thing over here, them to ask, and then for it to come in, for it to receive. So there's some love, actually, I feel, that they never really got from, they didn't really achieve, didn't really experience in some other situation, that, or some desire, a desire that was never solved, and then it's asked for. And it really is just the process of asking, though. It doesn't matter the story, but there's something about, okay, I'm in need, I need to ask. I can't do this by myself. And that is a very powerful, necessary skill when it comes to connection. Okay? So that's really, really useful. And then we move onto the Hanged Man. So there's a little bit of difficulty, and it's a bit of a similar energy to this 9, about what happens when we have these realizations. So, okay, it's not quite here yet. We're going to have to wait till we can receive. So there's difficulty in the material, in the practical, in the material. There's an experience of lack and desire for more and better. That always brings more things in. There's a propensity here for you potentially to be the one that offers the inspiration, but and you might have when you're really sensing you're becoming creation, you become, I always call this like the hand of God. You become God, goddess, you become that God energy, you become life energy, you become life force, and then you can see very clearly or experience life, the creation of life, and life flowing very passionately and powerfully in that ace. But that's the back, the back is turned over here, because the mirror does need to learn, or it's more of a universal experience of the mirror in the world, whereby there's a kind of pride aspect. Not that there was a huge amount of pride before, but it's more humility. It's to be humbled by life, and to allow to understand that to ask is to receive, is to give. Because if there is no receiving, there can be no giving. And then this asking is kind of, there's humility required, and that's what's being triggered. But then it's kind of still quite challenging to even receive, because there could be an attachment to being okay or not receiving, you see. So it's kind of saying it's coming in, but then we have to wait, because the Hanged Man is about seeing a little bit more, seeing a bit more clearly. And it is about discomfort and being in a little bit of discomfort. This 9 of Wands is also about discomfort, and that is going to create just a little bit of just waiting, a kind of experience of waiting before we can move forward, before we've really assimilated everything and allowed it all to do its job. As I said, there's a potential for not on the mirror side, but for you to potentially circle through this. So all of this could be happening kind of simultaneously, and cycle through, like the 9 then becomes the 10 again, because that can become overwhelming. The 9 can very easily just kind of like get into that 10, because it becomes overwhelming, kind of the anxiety, or the desire, or the feeling like something needs to be done, or, to create, right? And that can't happen with that hangman either. Let's see what's going on down here. So beautiful, Nine of Pentacles at the bottom there, and the Lovers at the top. Amazing. So appreciation is the key to manifestation. So I was thinking about this, and it really, really is. It is everything. It came up in this 5 just about appreciation. This is kind of saying there isn't much appreciation here. For me, that 9 really represents abundance, but it's through appreciation, because everything is abundant always, and that 9 just represents really embracing and living and being in that abundance through the skill of appreciation and that is really just focus on the glory that is all around you. Of course, the birds singing, that glory that is all around you, no matter where you are. And then the Lovers up here, Major Arcana, means what it means. It's, the mirror, the symmetry, the match, the blessing, the grounded living of the true self, the authentic. This is what the nakedness means. The nakedness means we are free. We are liberated. We are liberated from our again, it's shame, guilt, ego, all of that kind of stuff. This is the only way the Lovers can really truly live. This is the whole point of this relationship. So it only happens through appreciation. And again, it only happens through groundedness, through the material, through pentacles. That includes money and work and life, but not even just money and work, because that's not what the pentacles mean anymore. What the pentacles mean is the earth and everything that happens on it. And the stories actually integrated into that. What it means, the actual, the solid material aspect of life. That's, and appreciating that, the earth. And then that's what creates the space for the Lovers, that's the Lovers get to stand on. But it needs you to be you and not to be following other people's stories. So it's not about the earth that other people are telling you. It's not about, oh, we need to save the planet. You've got to think about the earth under your feet. The only ground and the only earth you need to save and you need to care about and you need to protect is the earth under your feet. If everybody did that, we'd all be fine. So this is why it's very important to acknowledge that taking on all these stories and these avatars, and especially in the online space, these are all avatars that people are believing. It doesn't mean it's not true. It's just you get to choose. You get to choose, but very often, as I said, they're not based in reality. This is about appreciating reality. This is about genuinely being present, genuinely appreciating the ground under your feet, and everything, and the space around you, the people around you, what is happening around you. And when you're focused in on essentially an illusory space or an illusory self. And all the stories are illusory, really, as I said, because the only universal truth is oneness and connection, which is just something that we have to move in and out of, which is life, the spiral. It's really just a focus on the material reality as things are for you, without a desire for anybody else to believe it, not within a story that you require anybody else to believe or back up. That's the only thing and that's going to work in this relationship. You naked, standing there naked, you naked, the baby you were born as, that's who you need to make friends with. That's who you need to know. The you that was created and is continuously created and is there, right in the core of you, that heartbeat that you became almost instantaneously. That is the love, the lover. That is you, the lover. That's the only person that's ever going to have any agency in the world. All the rest of it's absolute nonsense. Timelessness, living beyond time. This is Mother Time, or the matriarch. Extra artwork in this centenary deck. So, centennial deck. So, this is forever. And that's the realization. That time, this isn't about a story. of a connection or of a relationship or anything cannot be put within the story. It's a timeless, constant movement in and out of connection, as I said. That's like electricity, that's life. There it is, that Ten of Swords. This Ten of Swords and this Ten of Wands, lots of tens, things coming to an end. This Ten of Swords is a welcome energy, because it's saying, I've had enough of everything. All my ideas have kind of shot myself in the back. None of the narratives. I mean, this is kind of like narratives. These are kind of like the created stories in this context right now, today, this reading. And this is kind of like beliefs. So these are potentially more transient, because they're more kind of in that creative energy. They're kind of a bit more in that arising energy. The swords can become more kind of like solid. So it's like, it's created, it's forged, it's just here. You know, it's more difficult to decay, right? But the swords are dangerous, kind of more dangerous. They really attack, and those swords have taken the self right out. Really powerful week this week. I mean, there it is. Absolutely careful. I'm going to say careful. Attachments. This is just attachment. Look at it right below. It's beautiful. So beautiful. Right below the lovers. This is like connection and attachments which create distance, right? Stories we attach to which create distance, but it's all one thing. This is the way it goes. And you want to be in appreciating that to that, 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 to that. I mean, how long do I need to go on for? Like, that's all that this needs to ever be. So maybe you just want to make a little video of this and just understand that that's the way love works. And that's the way life works. You don't get to demonize this. You don't get to demonize anyone or anything. The reason why I'm here is because, for whatever reason, this is happening. This message is important for the entire world, which is you. The root here is appreciation. Everything I said about the only world you need to save is the world under your feet. The only earth you need to save is the world under the... You don't know what's going to save the earth. The scientists don't know what's going to save the earth. No one can save it apart from you, and the only piece you need to look after is the piece under your feet. Every time your foot touches the ground, bless. The foot, the ground, every single foot that's ever been on that piece of ground, the flooring material, the carpet, the wood, the plastic, whatever it is, the gravel, the tarmac, the grass, the sand, the water. Bless and be blessed by your experience in your environment, and understand that this is life. And just because you get to observe something here in yourself or in others, that doesn't mean that you then get to, the only thing that keeps this there is your intention and really your judgment, your resistance to it. It's just keep it going, keep it flowing, keep it going, keep it flowing. And, if you just want this all the time, you can have it, but not if you don't want that. It's all about what you're focusing on. It's like night and day, sun, dark, light, dark, light, dark. This, it's just part of life. To attach is fine, as long as you don't then get attached to attachment or attached to non-attachment, or it's a judgment thing as well. It's judging and judging. And I see a lot of people, and I'm just be honest, it's like within spirituality right now, it's just absolutely horrendous. The judgments on 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 the judgments. It's just judgment central. Or resistance, really. It's just resistance. And I live a somatic life. And then whatever communication flows through me. And that is it. There's no attachment there's no ego that's believing that it's doing anything important other than translating the energy as it's flowing. So it doesn't matter what flows, right? Just be careful. It's that attachment to the ego or the judgment or the right and the wrong, basically. And it's just arrogance. It's so boring. Really, just boring. So, can you feel this energy, this energy, this energy, this energy? Present here, right? All of it. All of it. And the birds, and the singing, and the love, and the joy, and the appreciation. The only universal truth is oneness, and the only way we can experience that is connection, connection, and disconnection, connection, disconnection, connection, disconnection. This represents disconnection. Disconnection occurs when we try to maintain connection, and then we become chained. We don't need to be connected. Just as I said, there's no story of equality needed when we are all equal. There's no story of connection needed when we are connected. There's no story of love needed when we are love. There's no story needed. There's no story needed. Just energy moving, and you get to appreciate the ground under your feet and allow yourself to be born again in every moment. Happy, happy, happy Easter. Lots and lots of love. Mwah. I'll see you next week.